evening and welcome to episode 20 of Ox Sports Unleashed, the #1 sports programme in Oxfordshire and the #1 show out of Oxford Dales Cricket Club. Have you watched that other show?
No, not really.
No, I've missed it.
No.
I'm still waiting for a laugh, actually.
Yeah.
But I haven't had that yet.
It's, to coin a phrase from somebody else, if you're a bit sort of insomniac.
Yeah, sleepless nights, there's something to do, isn't it, I suppose?
Yeah.
That probably will send you to sleep, actually.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that'd be quite
without
good.
a doubt.
Yeah. Oh, welcome. If you're joining us from your bathrooms, your bedrooms, your jacuzzis, your steam rooms, your greenhouses, your sheds, welcome to another episode. Have to say straight away, what an incredible show last week with Ben Reardon, with all the news around Witney Town Football Club. Exclusive what you had. And also Ellie Noble sharing her journey in football, but also concussion that she's still struggling with through football. So it was a really heartfelt programme last week. What we always do at this point is put out a bit of a plea. Can we get your clips in, please, to our normal email address, which is oxsportsunleashed@gmail.com. As you can imagine, we've used paddle tennis, we've used hockey, ice hockey, American football, loads and loads of football from grassroots teams. So please do send us something. We're introducing another new sport that we haven't covered tonight on Ox Sports Unleashed, and that's motorsport. So stay tuned for our special studio guest, Ben Cox. We're looking forward to meeting and talking with him. And it should be another great show. What are you looking forward to?
Yeah, no, I think it will be. I think it's we're sort of expanding every week, aren't we? Some of us are expanding every week.
More than most.
Yeah, thank you. I thought Bear was expanding a little bit.
Nice red cap.
Very, very nice red cap. We've got our regular features. We've got Rugby Union from Chinner. We've got Oxford City. We've got Banbury. Not great, to be honest, but stay tuned. It's still worth watching. Not great results, but we'll continue to cover them throughout. We've got I think a real contender to knock Kenzie Isaac off the top for the goal of the season competition. We'll show that to you later on as well. That's a Didcot Town goal. That'll be really, really good. And we're going to start something a bit different this week. We're going to start with the Rugby Union. Chinner hosted the Taunton Titans on Saturday. They weren't that Titanic, to be fair.
Oh, right.
They lost quite heavily.
Were they sinking?
They were sinking without trace, I think. Yeah. So this is the highlights from a beautiful day actually at Chinner. A nice big crowd. Pitch was a little bit heavy, but a beautiful day. I managed to capture some of the tries. To be honest with you, there were so many tries. I got bored with catching them in the end, and my phone ran out of battery. So we got the first 5 or 6 tries, and then afterwards come back because we've then got a really good interview with Fran Ronan, who is the head of women and girls rugby at Chinner RFC and also the head of community at Chinner. But before that, we'll just show you a few little highlights from the game on Saturday in National League One. Can Chinner stay top of the table? You'll find out in the next couple of minutes. There you go, that was Chinner against Taunton. It didn't finish 59-3 as that scoreboard shows. That was the half-time score. It was 80-10 was the final score. An incredible performance from Chinner. And George Warboys, who we met when they played against the Rams, lovely fella, the fly half, he scored 35 points. Including a hat-trick of tries. Brilliant effort from the young man. He's on loan from Bath. He's only got 2 more games though with Chinner. He's heading down under, he told me, in a couple of weeks' time to go and play for the Sydney Northern Suburbs down in Australia, and that's a top quality rugby union club down there. So 2 more games. I think Chinner will miss him because he is a really influential player, really good, and the tries he scored. The first try that he scored, if you want to watch this back later on, a little bit of showboating. He got under the post, ran to the middle, and just did a salmon dive. He really did. But really good result. It was important too that they picked up that result because Rams, they continued their winning ways. They beat Darlington Moden Park up in the northeast to keep up the pressure. They also scored a bonus point victory. So it really is incredibly tight at the top, level on points. Completely level on points, but Chinner have the vastly superior try difference or points difference. Not surprising with results like that, to be honest. Their next game, they've got a week off this week, which is probably just as well. They've got a break of a week, and then they've got a really tough one away to Plymouth Albion on the 9th of March. And Plymouth are the only side that have beaten Chinner at Chinner this year, so that will be a really tough game. And both Chinner and Rams have got really tough run-ins, so I think it's going to go right to the wire. And it could go down to the last game at Darlington, where Chinner might need a bonus point win to win the league and move into the championship. We really hope they do, because it's, as you saw before Christmas, it's a terrific place, isn't it? Terrific venue, great community club, and on that note...
That's a good segue, I like that.
On that note, during the game in the second half, this is one of the reasons I didn't capture all the tries. I had the pleasure of speaking to Fran Ronan, and Fran is the head of community at Chinner Rugby Club, and also the head of women and girls rugby, and they're introducing a really good initiative to try and get more women and girls into the sport. The Chinner Kites women's team, they set up just last year. Fran is currently out of action because she suffered a bit of concussion a few weeks ago. She said she's on the mend, thankfully, but in rugby, when you get a concussion, it does tend to hurt. So best wishes to Fran. But I caught up with Fran during the second half, and we were talking about what the initiatives are at Chinner and what opportunities there are for women and girls. And there was 200 women and girls at a special lunch on the day. I wasn't invited to the lunch. I'm a bit. I did have a burger. I had a nice free burger. But so here, yeah. So this is a brilliant little interview. Now listen to Fran Ronan and the passion that she speaks with as she talks about women and girls rugby at Chinner.
Okay, we're with Fran Ronan, Chinner's head of women's rugby, head of community. Fran, first of all, we're here at Chinner against Taunton. It's becoming a bit of a rout, 50 points on the board, and really important that they do this off the back of last week, looking ahead to the last 6 games of the season.
Yeah, I think it was potentially a bit of a shock to their system that they took that loss yesterday, because I think everyone just kind of got a bit used to them winning. But we saw them come back on Tuesday, have a really solid training session. It's really exciting to see them get their heads down and they really mean business this season. So, and they just make such an impact around the club as well. So we're all behind them. And they've obviously put a stunning performance out today, running riot, and it seems like they've got the head screwed back on. They're looking quite fresh and going for it, yeah.
Absolutely. Obviously, the reason we're talking to you today is it's a club day, women and girls day as well, and obviously as in your role as head of women's rugby, really good to see so many people here from all backgrounds really enjoying this rugby, and it's a club that we've spoken about before, but Chinner have that community feel, don't they? And it's really important that the whole community feels engaged in this brilliant club.
Yeah, absolutely, and it just grows year on year. This year feels especially special. Kind of off the pitch, everyone's really getting around each other. We've just had the biggest lunch that Chinner have ever hosted, so we had 209 people sit down for lunch today, and a lot of those tables we had all female tables, or females with people who are especially prominent within some form of the women's game, or female business leaders. So we had Lisa Weston, so from Women in Sport charity. She's quite influential in her area, so it was amazing to have her coming in, and she's connected to the club. Her dad's in the Friday team, so all this networking opportunities throughout the club is just phenomenal, and it's grown strength on strength. We've got over 100 women and girls registered to play rugby here, and that's kind of come just over the last 3.5 years, so we are definitely on the right tracks, but we've got huge ambitions, so we're really excited to see where that goes.
I mean, those numbers are absolutely fantastic. Everybody knows that the men's first team are doing so well and top of the league, but 100 women and girls at the club, and a club that's growing, and obviously you play yourself. I gather you got a bit of a concussion a few weeks ago, but you are very passionate about increasing participation amongst women and girls at this club. Yeah,
hugely. It's such an empowering sport, and it's amazing to get involved, whether they're on the pitch or off the pitch. We really want to grow the community around the women's game, as well as encouraging more people to play the game and have a go at it. We really want people to get behind us. Numbers that we get down crowds now for our home games are bigger than ever. But it's testament to the club. The club is so welcoming, it kind of holds the right traditions, and we've got this huge community. Everyone likes to come down for a drink and a chat to support each other, but also they want progression, they want the club to grow, and that's so refreshing to have in a rugby club, and it just makes you want to be part of it and join their journey. So.
And despite the numbers, over 100 women and girls, plenty of room for more, and if anybody is listening to this and feels they want to get involved in rugby, even if they're a beginner that's never necessarily tried it before, I guess your philosophy is come along and give it a try.
Absolutely, you've got nothing to lose by just having a go, even just coming round and see what the environment's like. It's never too late to have a go. We've got the women training on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 7 down at the club, so all the senior teams train on the same night. We have food afterwards, a nice meal, so it is a really good community. We have the girls on Wednesdays and Sundays, and they're just growing. All the local schools, we seem to be recruiting a few more each time. And they're just loving it, they're enjoying it, they're smiling. We're really working, as I said, we've got huge ambitions to really take it somewhere special over the next 5 years, so yeah, watch this space.
And with International Women's Day coming up in the coming weeks, never a better time really to showcase this club. And if you had a message to anybody out there that is listening, how do they get in touch? What do they need to do to get involved at this club?
You can find us on social media, so Chinner FC on Instagram. You can find our website, just put it in Google, they'll all come up really well connected, or you can just rock up. We're a really open club, it's open every day. There's always people around. I work here most days, so always happy to just have a chat and say hello and answer anyone's questions that they've got. So.
Quick question then about the ladies team. How are you doing this year? How's the league going? How are you as well after your concussion? Are you back playing at the moment, or are you still just waiting to get back?
Not quite on the pitch, almost. I'm hoping the next game I'll be back on. It's kind of been a bit of a draw, trying to wait for it. I'm not very good at being on the sidelines. I want to get on. Season-wise, points-wise, it's not been so strong, but actually there's so many positives we can take from it. We've got more people training than ever, consistent numbers. We've got almost too many players for matchday squads, so that's kind of a good challenge to have, a good problem to have, but obviously we want everyone playing. So the room for growth looking forward is phenomenal. We're really excited, and yeah, we need to get a few wins on the board, I think.
Well, if you can emulate what the first 15 are doing, I'm sure that will come. I mean, obviously, really good infrastructure here. Great facilities, improving all the time. It's a great afternoon today as well, and anybody that wants to get down to support any of the teams, I guess, from the men's first 15 all the way down to the force to the ladies and the juniors here. You've got a great junior section. It's a great place to be to come and watch some good rugby.
Absolutely, and I'm not sure we'll quite be able to replicate what the first team do, and we have so many brand new players to the game, so it's a very different game that we do, but the first team players are really supportive. They'll come down and do skill sessions with us individually. They are fully bought into helping upskill all of the grassroots teams as well. So it is really one club.
Brilliant. That's a real key message, isn't it? One club, because if you have that one club philosophy, everybody buys into it, everybody supports everybody. And case in point today, with all the kids here as well, and as you mentioned, all the girls and the ladies here. Brilliant afternoon, and you must be pretty thrilled that it's going so well.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I think our mini and junior section is about 600. And then we've got the 4 men's teams and the seniors plus the women's team, so it's a big club, and it is a job to coordinate, and there's so many incredible volunteers that make things happen here, and we just got to keep working, getting people down, making ourselves visible, so that there's lots of role models and a pathway that people can follow in the future.
Fran, thank you very much. I'll certainly pop down and see how you're getting on. Hopefully you're back on the pitch soon and you recover from that little knock on the head that you had. You look like you're sort of on the way back anyway.
Yeah, the pills are helping.
the Guinness is helping. Good luck for the rest of the season, and we'll definitely follow your progress over the coming weeks.
Thank you.
That's Fran Ronan talking about the women and girls rugby at Chinner, and also the community initiatives at Chinner. If you're at a loose end on a Saturday, it's always worth getting down there. It's a cracking place to go and watch some really good standard of rugby union, and also the women's team that have only been recently set up in the last sort of 18 months or so are looking to develop and push on as well. So the very best of luck to Fran, and the very best of luck to Chinner. We'll hopefully get their press officer in over the coming weeks, because as I mentioned earlier, they've got a tough run in, but we're going to back them all the way to the end, and who knows, we might even be able to get up there to the final game up at Darlington and maybe do something from up there. That's a long way to go, but I'm happy to try and do that if I can.
Fantastic initiatives there, wasn't there? And you know, anybody looking to get into rugby in the women's and girls game, get along to Chinner. It's got to be one of the best places to go to.
Isn't it? Yeah, it really is. Right, we're going to change from the oval ball to the round ball now. We're going to bring you, if you can stomach it, Oxford City. Needless to say, they didn't do particularly well. Sounds harsh, but they lost again. They had the really, really long trip all the way up to Gateshead on Saturday in the National League. They are 11 points adrift now at the bottom of the table, looking almost certain for relegation, and they have 10 games left to try and save themselves. And here are, tongue-in-cheek, I would say, the highlights of the game up at Gateshead on Saturday.
Run on the far side as Adam brings it down. He's got support on the inside if he needs it. And Whelan does pick up the loose ball, pulls it back across. Denanga couldn't go for the air. Oh, surely a penalty, yes. He tried to get up to header it, and there was an arm on the shoulder, and down he goes, and it's a penalty to Gateshead. Well, Hannon steps up. Just waiting for the referee's whistle. Here we are, up against Watson. Hits it. Oh, lovely penalty. Straight into the top of the corner of the net. Right, and Gateshead win 1-0. Not win 1-0, lead 1-0. Part of it didn't get there. Gateshead can try and get in control. Nice strength from Warman to hold players off. Gets Denanga in the centre. If he looks on the far side, there's Adam. And now Gateshead can get numbers forward in the box. And it comes forward to Denanga. Oh, it went right through. Oh! Wow. Beautiful ball in there. Defenders and goalkeeper couldn't get to it. Well, the ball there, Hannon curled his run there and timed it well. He needs some targets in the box, takes it down, pulls it across. There's Denanga header. Oh, great save. Great save. And Denanga kept it. Hannon kept it in. Now Whelan goes for his shot. And I think the ball offside flag has went up. But wow, magnificent save there from Tom Watson down to his right hand side. Grayson, ball up to Warman. Oh, that was a pull, definitely, and it's a free kick to Gateshead. Quickly taken, well blocked. The yellow card coming in for Burley, for Andre Burley.
He's off.
Oh, he's off. Wow. There you go.
Very silly.
Story. Inside to Job. Everybody in the final third of Oxford's side of the pitch is all lovely little layback. Oh, and a shot off from Warman, and Madanga, he gets the ball in the back of the net. He pounced. There was some lovely little flicks in the build-up between Whelan and Warman, but there was Denanga where it counted, and he just lifts it into an empty net. Gateshead 2, Oxford City 0. Brings the ball forward, gets it. Oh, lovely little flick from Evans. Denanga does very well to get it back to Evans, edge of the box. Hannon, far side ball comes across. Adams there, he's going to pick up the ball. Can he get a shot off? Tries to go for one out. It's kept in by Hannon on the far side. Wow, in comes the cross. Wasn't the greatest, but there's Francis with a shot. Denanga puts it home. He gets his ball, and it is the third goal. There was looked for an offside, but Denanga once again, the bear knows where to be, and he was in space and pokes it home.
He will not score an easy goal in his life. Perfect.
Nicely dispossessed, gated up the ball. Denanga sees the run there on the far side, plays it through, and Denanga gets the ball back. He's got Dijon to his left. Or can he dink it through? Puts it through. It just rolls past to the side. We thought we were on for the hat trick, and Marcus, well, Joe back to Whelan. Whelan plays it in the centre of the Story. Story's going to put it out to Hassani. Hassani's going to have to chase to keep this one in at the corner flag. He does so. Now Grayson's got a great opportunity to whip one in, but just lays it off to Story. Story driving forward. Oh, he keeps the ball in play, pulls it back across. There's Denanga! There's the hat trick! It's Gateshead 4, Oxford City 0. And credit to Louis Story, he chased down a ball that looked like there was nothing in it, pulls it back. Denanga's there.
He won't score an easy hat trick, but
Ouch. 4-0. Another convincing defeat, and probably the easiest hat-trick that Marcus Denanga's ever going to score.
I would have thought so. All in the 6-yard box, if not closer.
Yeah, absolutely. They're back in action at the Royal Charging Stadium on Saturday, where they host Aldershot. Needless to say, as I've said a few times, they desperately need a win because they're 11 points adrift now at the bottom of the table. I think 12 or 13 points away from safety. With only 10 games left, I think they've got 5 at home and 5 away, and their away record has been pretty atrocious as well. So it's not looking great for Oxford. It looks like relegation is just around the corner. But, well, there's hope, I suppose. You just have to keep hoping that
it's
they
still
can turn it around.
possible to get out of it, isn't it?
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
We'll keep our fingers crossed and keep watching their progress in the next 10 games or so. Thank you.
3 Musketeers.
It's actually now time to our normal roundup of last week's results and fixtures with our firm of solicitors, Lock, Lyon and Ride. I like to call them Rita, Sue and Bob 2. So here's this week's
That's gone over my head
Lock,
completely.
Lyon and Ride. Google it.
Hello and welcome to Lock, Lyon and Ride's football review with Patrick Lock. Hi, Patrick.
Hi, Colin.
And hi, Paul Lyon.
Hi, Colin.
Right, I'm Colin Ride. Now, no game for Banbury United last weekend as the Twitter feed was again full of pictures there, completely flooded pitch. And Paul, there comes a point where it gets difficult to try and cram the games into the end of the season. I mean, does the FA help with that at all? Or is it just tough luck?
Tough luck, Colin. Thankfully at City, we don't get this problem anymore, do we? Thanks to the 3G pitch. In the 7 years that we've had a 3G pitch, we've had 2 games called off for the weather, both for snow. Never any games called off for rain, so we're really lucky these days. But I'm sure Patrick remembers the days where we might have 4 games in the last 7 days of the season, just to get the season done, and they won't extend it because they've got a really strict deadline with the playoffs and everything else. So you're stuck, and if you're fighting a relegation battle and suddenly you've got 4 games to play, it's going to be a bit of a challenge, isn't it?
Is indeed. Let's hope that Banbury's pitch, it does drain quite quickly. I've been there, I've seen it flood and then drain quite quickly. So, Patrick, let's start with Didcot Town, the only local club to take something from last weekend's fixtures in a 2-2 draw, with Didcot scoring an equaliser in the 6th minute of additional time. Quite a game, Patrick, and quite a result for Didcot.
Yeah, it's it shows the state of football on Saturday, really, that Didcot were the only side from Oxfordshire in the top 9 divisions of English football that avoided defeat as they drew 2-2 at Salisbury. It was just 10 minutes in, actually. Didcot took the lead with one of the goals of the season, actually, and certainly one that will end up in the goal of the season montage in a few weeks' time. Sam Barder with the goal as he was laid up about 30 yards out, and he hit his shot first time and it flew straight into the top corner with absolutely no chance for the keeper. An absolutely stunning goal to give them the lead. Salisbury did level though on about the half hour with a equally thunderous goal, you'd say, really, as a ball came into the box. Wasn't really cleared by the Didcot defence, and Gunson for Salisbury smashed past Lee Bedwell to level the scores just before the half-hour mark. There's about an hour where nothing happened, and then it was the 90th minute when the action really hotted up. Second minute of added time, Salisbury thought they'd won it when a Harding back heel flew past Lee Bedwell, kind of wrong-footed him a little bit to send the Salisbury fans into raptures, which they thought they were going to get 3 points. But just a couple of minutes later, actually, a long throw saw Cameron McNeil head home to level the scores on his 200th appearance, actually, to continue the late drama and earn Didcot a point there. So yeah, a lot of late drama, and here's what manager Jamie Heapy said at full time.
Good evening, James. Frenetic end to a really good game in the end. We'll start from the top. Bard's goal. How did you feel?
Oh, hell of a goal, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I think he's been warming that up for a while because he's had a few shots recently, and they've been in the school behind the goal, haven't they? So, hell of a strike. Hell of a keeper was never going to save that at all. It was. You can probably get a perfect goal. Great start. I thought we'd done well. I thought we looked solid, we looked compact, we looked a threat going, it was nice at the end. Enjoyed that one at the end, the equaliser. We deserved that. 100% we deserve that. So, good point. Possibly if we were a bit braver, we might have... I thought they were there for the taking. I'm not going to mix the words. I thought they were there for the taking. They started sloppy, they started slow. Naming 3 players on the bench, did they take it lightly and think we've got enough to deal with Didcot? Maybe, I don't know. Mate, he snapped the corner flag at the end, didn't he? That's when we scored. So, fair play to the referee. I didn't, he was okay, he wasn't great, but he's added it on for snapping the corner flag and we go and score. So,
okay, so Paul, Jamie Heapy there. Having a quick chat, but is there something wrong with the structure of lower league football? The likes of Didcot, Oxford City and North Lee have struggled with life one step up in the football pyramid. North Lee, the latest victims, falling foul of lack of funding to deliver FA ground requirements, because it seems a really odd situation where it's almost as though promotion is something you don't want.
Well, going one step up is difficult at all levels of football. If you just look at what happens in the Premier League, who are the bottom 3 at the moment in the Premier League? The teams who have come up last season. And you see teams going up from League One to the Championship, like Rotherham, that go up and down, up and down, up and down. I think it's exceptionally hard at the level that we're at now at Oxford City, because in the National League Premier, we've now got Football League teams coming down with a parachute payment down to our level. And then you've got the teams like Oxford City that are part-time teams coming up, and we're trying to play catch-up with them. And you've really got a division of 2 halves there at Oxford City's level. But it is an issue in football where it's mainly a financial disparity, isn't it? Who's got the money can afford to pay for the best players. One of the reasons why the football regulator's coming in, Colin, because 90% of the TV money goes to the Premier League teams, and 10% goes to the rest of the pyramid. And I think you might see that change in the next year or so, where the football regulator might put more money further down the pyramid. So hopefully that will change a little bit and make it easier for teams to stay up.
In terms of where Oxford City are at the moment, I gather you've just now told the FA that you're not going to go up. You're unlikely to go up. The situation you're in fact, you're more likely to go down. I hate to say it, but that seems to be the reality now. But you've told the FA, haven't you, that as you're not going to go up, you don't need to do the ground regulations, which could be very costly, couldn't they, Paul?
Yeah, by 31st of March, we have to get the ground ready for promotion to the Football League. And I've said to them, what's the point? Because we can't get promoted this year, so we've withdrawn that application. But that's just a formality. If we come back up again in 2 years' time, then we can reapply again. It's only in place as a rule because they don't want to get to a situation where a team gains promotion to the Football League and then gets turned down because the ground isn't ready. As what used to happen in the old days with the clubs like Altrincham, who won the old conference a few times but couldn't go up. So they want to make sure that they get those 2 places in the Football League, and in fact they're pushing for a 3rd one at the moment to try and get 3 up, 3 down. So they're pretty careful there. But obviously it's mathematically impossible for Oxford City to get promoted unless we get 23 clubs go bust.
Well, yeah, okay. Other people's misfortune could be your good fortune. But just to get it absolutely clear, the teams that come down from the league to the National League, they get a parachute payment if and when Oxford City drop out of the National League back down to the next level down. They get no parachute payment at all. That's the fact, is it, Paul?
Yeah, so out of the Football League into the National League, those teams will get a parachute payment. But for coming out of the National League into the North and South, you won't get anything. The only thing that you could have a chance of getting is if they move us into the National League North, then they might give us a financial benefit because of the increased travelling costs of being in the North Division, because it's quite expensive. I think Bishop Stortford got £10,000 to go in the North last season just to help out with the travelling. Yeah.
Okay, so Didcot's draw was the only good news amongst Oxfordshire teams further up the football period. Oxford United lost 2-1 at home to Leyton Orient. Hughes unable to build on an early goal from Tyler Goodrum. City lost, as we know, 4-0 at Gateshead, and they also lost a man as well with Bushnell, I think it was, getting a second yellow card. Now, Patrick Lock, us pundits normally give players names out on the team sheet. We read them out, don't we, so, in our pre-match reports. But in future, what do you think about me naming everyone of Oxford City supporters who travelled up there? Because 34 made the 526-mile round trip to Gateshead Saturday. What do you think about that idea?
Yeah, it's crazy, really, isn't it? Like travelling that distance to support the team. Yeah, you got to applaud every single one of them. And yeah, unfortunately, if you wouldn't be saying my name out, because I think we decided that we weren't going to make the journey. Certainly hats off to the 34 that were in that away end. Actually, really good following up there for a club our size, really. And I understand that when the attendance was announced, that all the Gateshead fans stood up and applauded. So that was nice to hear.
Yeah, good to hear that. Yeah, I think so. Okay, then, Pat, just take us through the other local results last weekend. The tables as they stood at the end of the play last weekend, and what football fans have got to look forward to this weekend. Patrick Loxer.
Yeah, as we've already alluded to, it wasn't really a great day across Oxfordshire, really. So we'll just have a quick roundup of the remaining results from Saturday's games around the county. Southern League Division 1 Central, and nothing to shout home about really at all. Kidlington were beaten heavily at home by Biggleswade Town. They won 4-0 at Yarnton Road. We'll hear what Mark Massingham said about that game at full time.
Plenty of chances to score, but the season of the story remains. Mass, let's start off with your thoughts.
You just summed it up, Charlie. It's first half was strange. It was like every manager noticed you do games in 5-10 blocks, and the first 5 or 10 was all right. Then Hoppy's made a uncharacteristic error, and that goal probably changed the format. There's nothing really happening. Then they scored 2 good goals, which is just sloppy. There's just no ends of sloppiness in it. Sloppy in midfield, sloppiness in trying to block a shot, sloppiness in being beat one-on-one. The penalty was just, you know, if I go, my nephew's playing football tomorrow morning, if I go and see him defend like that, I'll be embarrassed. So it was our own doing. Got into the lads at half time. Luckily, didn't need to say too much. There was a few crosswords said, which was needed, and the second half was much better. Their goal at the end sums it up. I mean, the keeper's made, I'll probably say 4 fantastic saves. You know, their keeper was class. And yeah, they had one shot in the second half and scored it, and that pretty much sums it up. I think we had 7 or 8. Say 7 because Felipe's was offside and didn't score. So there you go. The second half pretty much sums it up. Lots of heart, lots of fight, and yeah, sucker punch.
Northley also heavily beaten in that division away at Kings Langley. They fell to a 5-1 defeat. Michael Hopkins got the only goal for the Millers there, which was actually an equaliser in the 17th minute, but they went on to concede 4 more goals to lose heavily there. Tame United were also beaten, but not quite as heavily as a 20 minutes goal. Saw them beaten 1-0 at home to Stopfold. The picture wasn't much better in set 5 or 6 actually, to be honest, with Wallingford and Cromarsh earning a 2-2 draw at Hilltop on Friday night, really being the best result in the Combined Counties League Premier. The other game in there saw Ardley United beaten 4-2 at Harefield United. So again, not much in that division. United County Premier, and it's actually a former opponent of Oxford City in the Conference North days in Histon, and they hosted Easington Sports on Saturday. But Easington Sports went down 2-1 there. So Long Crendon actually ended up being the highest ranked side in Oxfordshire to win on Saturday in Step 6. They beat Moreton Rangers 2-0 in Hellenic Division 1 at the Royal Charging Stadium, actually. Tommy Lethbridge and TJ Bartley were the 2 goal scorers for Crendon that day. And actually, it was what was their final game at City's ground, actually. So I didn't actually see where they're going now. But they obviously ground shared with City for the last few years, but obviously moving on to pastures new now. Arundel United couldn't build on their win from last Friday. They were beaten 3-1 at home by Cheltenham Saracens on Saturday. And finally, an Oxfordshire Intermediate Cup quarter-final. Kidlington Reserves did book their place in the semi-final by beating Dorchester 2-1. A game that had to be rearranged a few times due to the weather, so finally got that one played. On Sunday, Oxford City women were comfortable 5-1 winners over Winchester City Flyers. 2 more goals for Ellie White, who's having a great goal-scoring season for the Hoops. Billy Bow French also grabbed a brace, while Georgina Taman grabbed the other one for the Hoops in that big win at the Royal Charging Stadium. That result saw them move up to 3rd in the Southern Region Women's Football League Premier, while obviously City's men's first team remained bottom of the National League after their 4-0 defeat at Gateshead. Oxford United just about clinging on to their playoff spots in League One. They sit 6th at the moment, but still need form to turn to cement that place come the end of the season. Banbury United stay 19th in National League North, but obviously, as you've already heard, got a few games in hand on those above and below. So still all to change in that division. Didcot Town still bottom of Southern League Premier, but just 1 point away from Harrow Borough, just above them now. So at least they've got something to play for there when it may not finish bottom, which will obviously be good for them. Northleigh dropped to 4th in the Southern League Division 1 Central, while Kidlington 17th and Tame 18th, also in that division. So have a quick look to see what's coming up this weekend. And Oxford United, a big game actually. They travelled to Portsmouth in League One, who are still the leaders. Oxford City host Aldershot Town in the National League, a team flying high, so that'll be a tough task. Banbury United got a long journey. They head up to Darlington in National League North. Didcot Town host AFC Totton in the Southern League Premier South. And probably whisper it quietly, as a team they conceded 7 to earlier in the season. So hopefully they do a bit better than that game. And in Southern League Division 1 Central, Northleigh hosts Stotfold. Kidlington travel to Barton Rovers, while Tame have a very tough task as they travel to the league leaders Bedford Town. And finally on Sunday, just Oxford City women in action. And they hope that the floodlights won't fail this time as they try again to play their Oxfordshire Women's Cup fixture against Oxford University on Sunday. And back to you, Colin.
Yeah, thank you, Patrick Locke and Paul Lyon. I'm Colin Wright. And a weekend that didn't see very good news at all for our local football teams, I suppose. But at least we got the cricket season to look forward to. I'm Colin Wright, handing back to the main studio for much more Ox Sports Unleashed.
Thanks there to Colin Ride, Paul Lyon and Patrick Locke. As I said, Rita, Sue and Bob too. Google it. That's why I had to do that with K-Dog. You'll notice that he has left my side, and I've been joined by United Formula Ford Championship motorsport driver, 19-year-old Ben Cox. Welcome, Ben. Thank you for coming on to the show.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I really appreciate you guys contacting me and getting me out here.
Yeah, we're looking forward to hearing your journey. See what I did there? Through motorsport. Just give us a little bit of background about yourself. You know, where your love of motorsport came from, and has it been a sort of in the background of your family for a little while, or was it you at the forefront?
Well, where I started was on a little blue go-kart that my grandfather bought for my father and 2 uncles, I want to say around 45-ish years ago, I think it was. And he sadly passed away at Christmas just now. But I got a tribute on my car and on the front of my racing helmet as well, called "Keep Smiling," which he always, he's always said about all the time. So that's sort of where my motorsport started, combined with the effort from Formula One, which Mum and Dad always had on the television, as Mum's obsessed with Mansell Red 5. And that really got me going, and then it followed through to actual karting, and now it's into Formula Fords. Brilliant.
That's quite a nice little progression through as well, going through that. Who in the sport has sort of inspired you during that time? Who's sort of really stood out for you, made you want to go into this sport?
Well, Grampy really just kept me in the blue go-kart because I never wanted to get out of the flipping thing. So that's the main thing where I sort of picked up the enjoyment of going fast as I could, because I did laps and laps and laps around the Ano Park, the top of the hill. At the same time, when I started to watch F1, I really picked up on Lewis Hamilton in his McLaren era. So I think that, you know, those are the two main sort of people who got me involved into racing and selected Formula One as a end goal.
Yeah, we've had guests on before, and you know that element of the family, you know, helping you through those early stages is really important, isn't it?
Yeah, it definitely is, especially in the grassroots, like karting, especially when you're on your own. And bless Dad, because he's put an awful lot of effort in, haven't you?
He's behind the camera, guys. If you didn't know, that's Neil. So
yeah, should have said that. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's okay. Just aside, I know you were diagnosed with autism when you were 12, 7 years ago. Has that sort of had an impact in the sport for you, and how difficult has that journey been for you?
Well, especially when I first started, I found it quite difficult. I think Dad remembers me when I chatted about this to him earlier. He said about me, I used to isolate myself in the car because it was an overwhelming environment for me to first start to get going, particularly the social aspect, which I usually struggle with in general, and taking in information as well, which is also I found quite difficult, especially to get faster. I'm a very visual learner. I tend to have GoPro videos and stuff to help myself improve, but in karting you don't really have that, because in a lot of clubs I don't think they allow cameras on race days on some occasions, but not exactly sure how correct that is, but we've been told before to have them off. Yeah,
and I know that you can have sort of sensory sort of problems as well with the autism. Is that something that's had an impact on you, whilst driving? Smells of the car and the rubber and the I don't know, brakes, whatever.
But those smells I do love. Just even in general, like you go around around home or something like that, you smell some fuel and it's like, this is quite nice. You could do with a candle that smells like that, but that wouldn't be a good idea. It might go boom. But it sort of helps me get in the zone as well when the visor goes down. You sort of smell that. I sort of get in the zone and go into a fight mode. That sort of builds in me as well psychologically, and get obviously quite nervous as you normally do pre-race, and I have my acidic reaction, which is the main sort of sign, I suppose. It's not very fun, but it's a bit of a James Hunt reference, so I know he's if he had it back in the 70s, then I can't see it being that bad of a thing. Yeah,
is there anything you wanted to say to our viewers about your autism in the sport that you're in? Is that something you could share with us?
Yeah, well, there's quite a few Facebook groups in particular, such as Autism in Motorsport, that are great for joining autistic people together in this racing, which is fantastic. And recently as well, I took part in the filming of Racing on the Spectrum documentary. It's mainly focused around Bobby Chumley, I think, is the main man that I knew there, and he's a nice chap. In Team Brit Racing, we took part in it at Team Karting in Manchester. So I'm quite excited to watch that when that comes out, and hopefully it brings a lot more neurodiverse people into the sport as well.
Brilliant, that's fantastic. Is that still readily available to download, or?
I don't think it's been released yet. I haven't heard anything at the minute. So only filmed it last month.
Okay, was that soon? Sorry, I didn't realise. Well, we'll look out for that, definitely. Well worth a watch, I would suggest. I mean, has that sort of made you more passionate, and interested in Formula Ford racing than your peers, do you think? Has that helped?
I think in terms of my autism in general, I have it makes me a genius, obviously in a few ways you hear from the Asperger's syndromes in particular. Obviously my hyper-focus is on motor racing, which I've obviously used to boost myself up in the ranks, and I believe I drive really, really well, so especially in the rain, and my consistency in general is fantastic. You see it in the lap times, sometimes even the race teams, they're like, oh my God, I can't believe it. Obviously the other part being Formula One, I just name random facts out of nowhere, and people just like, will you ever shut up? That's not going to happen.
That's brilliant. I love that. You've brought in a few things. I love the helmet, Coxie on the back as well. That's cool. It was lighter than I anticipated, actually.
Yeah, these helmets are made incredibly light. There's even carbon fibre models which are even lighter than that one. So it's incredible, and the way all these things are engineered in motor racing, they're designed so strongly, but yet they're so light. You feel like there's no structure to them at all. But this is probably one of the strongest helmets out there. It's unbelievable, and your safety of motorsports has come such a long way in all categories, really, as well as Formula One. Formula One's obviously the one that's mostly advertised and pushing it, of course.
I'm just gonna. That's probably, I would say, that's lighter than my cricket helmet, if I'm totally honest. So that's quite interesting to me.
I think I have worn a cricket helmet some years ago as well. It definitely is lighter. It's very comfortable as well. You've got all the padding sort of goes up against your cheeks and everything. I mean, I don't think it'll fit you because it's specifically fitted to my head. I'm not sure if it will or not, but
I'm not going to try. I'm not going to try, Ben. I will be honest. As much as I'd love to, I won't. You got some trophies here, Ben, as well, from obviously successes you've had. Can you go through them for us?
Yeah, I've got first one here being this is the first trophy I picked up in Fullbeck a couple of years ago in 2016. My first podium. This was. Against one of the last year's actually Formula Ford's champions. Me and him were on the same podium in that race. That was, I think, my third month of racing. I picked that one up, which was very good. Then the next one in the chronological order would be my first victory at Shennington in 2018. I absolutely love that track because following 2 years later, I picked up this one, which is the Winter 100 Championship from 2020 in my junior TKM days. So that was the best start to the karting season I've ever had, really. It's almost like, my Donington Park race, my first Formula Ford race. I was in the fight for the podium. I lost out by just 2 corners, being in 4th place. That was difficult. But I did get some podiums in the end, with this one being the first of my double podium at Snetterton in a rain-soaked race. It was absolute monsoons. But I was catching the leader, who was Oldfield's Lucas Romanek at the time. So yeah, now I'm in the team, so I'm excited to be doing even better than he did last year, hopefully.
I was gonna bring on to that. I'd come on to that. I love this. This is great on the podium. What was that like, first podium? That's got to be a real sort of highlight for your career so far.
That wasn't the first podium. The first one was about 2 months before in the dry. I just about managed to get it by 4/100ths of a second. The relief, because I didn't know until I actually came in, the team told me. I was like, the relief afterwards was amazing. You stand on the podium, you have that, that awkward smile. It's like, I don't know what else to do. But it was still such a good feeling as well. And I had some new friends from that weekend, Amanda and Charlie and Mark, come up as well, which was a great feeling to put on a show for them as well.
I was going to say that. Is the camaraderie between drivers pretty good in the championships you played in? Is it good, or is it cutthroat?
Depends on what championship fight you're in.
Oh, right, okay.
A lot of the people, obviously, a lot of people tend to be mates and that sort of stuff. Obviously, if you're in the heat of the front end of a pack, quite often it tends to be, cutting it here, really sharp edges. You're always on your feet, sort of thing. But at the end of the day, you're all friends. You can be friends with the greatest rival. There's a couple of them that I'm still mates with now, who I used to race with when I first started. Who maybe aren't racing now, and I'm sure a few of you know who you are if you are watching this. So there we go.
That's good.
It does create some lifelong bonds, and it's a very nice sport to be involved with.
Oh no, that's nice to hear. Actually, I mean, exciting times ahead for you joining Oldfield Motorsports. You alluded to it there. What's that going to be like for you? Obviously, it is exciting, but what's that got in store for you over the next few months?
Yeah, of course, I mentioned that they were last year's championship winners, so that's the main part that I'm excited about. They're within the normal mix at the front end of the field, so obviously I'm hoping to push myself into that front bunch and get in the contention for a win, and hopefully the championship later on in the season, and make it 2 years in a row for Oldfield.
That'll be brilliant. We will watch that with interest. We'll definitely follow that. One question I'm going to ask, because I don't know much about this sport, and I'm honest again enough to say that. What speeds do you get up to?
Well, I think the average top speeds of the Formula Fords is nearing 120 miles an hour. I think you can push a bit more if it's like all the maximums, wind pushing you. slipstream, things like that. But I think the average you get, between 110 to 20-ish, I think, from what I can recall, is the average top speed you get. And it's like at Silverstone or Snetterton, when there's really long straights and they're just, straight, fourth gear, rev the heck out of it.
That's good. That's brilliant. I'm learning so much about different sports, and learning this as well is brilliant to listen to. You mentioned there Lucas Romanek. He's quite decent, isn't he, at the championships that you're going into?
Yeah, last season he won a fair few races, and I used to race him in tyro karting as well, which is where I first started. We had a few good seasons there. Then he moved to X30. I went TKM, so we went different routes in that part. Now we raced in Formula Ford for the last 2 seasons. He's been with Oldfield and I've been with Sully. Now obviously I've made the move to Oldfield. I'm quite excited to see how I get on and hopefully, do what I can as I say, he's not racing with Oldfield this year, I don't think, but hopefully I can to get some wins like he did.
Yeah. Does the car change? A different car to use this year?
Yeah, different car compared to last season. So I think I was on the Ray last year. This year I'll be on a Van Diemen chassis.
Interesting. I know nothing about that. That went straight over my head, I've got to be honest.
It's like comparing a VW to a Mercedes or something like that. Yeah, there's different makes and stuff like that. They'll have different performances. We'll see how we get on.
That sounds great. There's a couple of things I want to mention before you go, Ben. Is obviously your brother Aston is involved in karting a little bit, and your dad's heavily involved in helping you through this as well. Is there anything you'd like to say about those two individuals?
Yeah, well, Ashton is my brother. He's very much the brains. He's like the engineer, if that makes sense. He's been in karting as well, of course. Dad's suffered a lot. I think his wallet has putting us through. I'm terribly sorry, Dad, to do that to you.
He said it live.
Yeah, I know. He loves it really, doesn't he? He's getting the content. But we work very well as a family. We've taken roles reversals as well. I've done mechanics on him for a weekend as well. He's got good mindset on how to try and focus and improve and things like that. And he's also got an apprenticeship in Alpine Formula 1, which is absolutely fantastic for him. He's blooming good. He's done blooming good there.
Yeah, excellent. That is good work, isn't it? Just to finish, really, Ben, if there's anybody out there that's looking to get into this sport in at the early stages, have you got any sort of messages for them or any advice you can give to them?
Well, if you're looking to start, my first place to go would be indoor karting. You can have a little muck about there, birthday parties. That's where we sort of started to get on after my grandfather's blue go-kart. We called it the Blue Racer. And then we also went on to Let's Go Karting at Shennington, which is on their website. You can view that. And then Tyro Karting is where I first properly started racing at. And it's a very level playing field. Equal tyres, equal chassis, equal absolutely everything. It's very fair. And brilliant. It's a brilliant series.
Absolutely. And it all starts for you, I believe, on the 10th of April at Silverstone. Is that the
13th of April on the Saturday? That's the first race of United Formula Ford.
All right. We wish you the very best of luck, Ben. I hope that goes really well. We watch your interest through the season. We certainly will be following it. So we wish you the very best of luck. And thanks again for joining us. That was a
Thank you very much.
Interview.
I very much appreciate you joining me. I look forward to coming back for another one sometime soon.
We will definitely have you back. Don't worry. That was Ben Cox, United Formula Ford Championship Motorsport driver. That takes us on to our next segment, which is back to football. And it was the midweek game that Banbury had against Peterborough Sports. Could they actually forge a win to keep them away from that relegation zone? Well, we'll show you the highlights now.
sending off's a big turning point in the game, because I thought we started the first 20 minutes really well, and look, these things happen in football, and at the present moment we're not getting the breaks.
You say you're not getting the breaks. What was your opinion on that sending off?
He's clean through on goal, isn't he? And you can't really turn around and say, no, it's not, because we'd have been shouting, wouldn't we, for it? But it's difficult. It's not easy. I always knew it was going to be hard when I came in, but we've had a sending off in this game, and we need to change that momentum, because teams around us have won tonight, and we dropped into the bottom four, but there's still plenty of games. There's 13 games to go, and with some of the football that we did play, when we decided to get the ball down and play and be brave with it, we actually caused them a few problems.
There you go. So the answer to your question was no, they couldn't, and they have dropped into the relegation zone. They've got 3 really crucial games coming up, all against sides in and around them. Similar to Oxford City now, isn't it, really? They've had a lot of games called off, but I've got to just say kudos to the Banbury United ground staff, because on the Friday, that pitch was completely underwater, and the surface on Tuesday was absolutely pristine, and Andy and all the ground staff at Banbury have done a sterling job to get that fit and ready.
Well done, guys.
Banbury are off to Darlington this weekend, former Football League side, of course. They beat Darlington earlier in the season. Darlington have had a bit of a bounce. They just changed their manager.
Oh dear.
And we've had that a few times.
That's not good news for them, is it?
They had a really good win last weekend at Curzon Ashton, so that's going to be a really tough one. And Banbury, they're in the bottom 4, but they have got games in hand, lots of games in hand, because of all the problems with their pitch. So let's hope that they can turn it around and stay in the National League North, because there's a chance that it could be a Banbury Oxford City derby next year, because I think that City will probably end up in the National League North if they go down. Right, we're going to move on now. Just before we move on, actually, kudos to young Ben Cox there. What a fantastic interview, and a very grounded young man. He's behind the camera. Just wanted to say thank you very much to Ben. Ben
enjoyed that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We'll definitely follow Ben through the summer. And when he makes his debut in Formula One at the Australian Grand Prix, we'll get some free tickets.
Yeah, that's right.
And, I'm sure we'll be able to get over there. So you heard that here first.
Yeah.
Right, moving on then. So we're going to go on to a bit of hockey now, and this is our regular sort of following of Witney ladies, and they had a good result at the weekend, and we've got a few highlights from the hockey, and we'll bring them to you now.
Feed Helen! Feed Helen! Go on, Ellie! Finish it! Next one! Safe score! Man on! Finish it! Come on, Whitney! Yes!
There you go, that's Whitney Ladies' seconds, I think, with a 7-1 victory over Milton Keynes. Fantastic footage there from
really
Kim Fowler, thank you very much. The goal scorers, Sophie Blacker got 4, brilliant effort from her, and Hannah Daniels got 2, and the 7th goal from Edie Herbert. So really good victory there for Whitney, who we've been following all through the season.
And we will continue to follow. And Kim did mention there was a few youngsters that played in that game, so that was good that they were able to play in a winning format. So well done to them. They're up to 5th now, aren't they? And,
they are, and they've got Oxford Hawks this weekend, 2 points behind them in the league. So that's going to be a bit of a crunch game. Oxford Hawks, obviously pretty well known, very strong club, but Whitney, off the back of that 7-1, they'll go into that full of confidence. Good luck on Saturday.
And that sort of takes us nicely to all the Whitney hockey results over last week. And I know our producer's going to put it up on the screen in front of me so that
I'm reading them.
I'm going to read them out to you. Or there we go. The under-14 boys for Whitney lost to Tame 2-1. It was an unfortunate loss. But the men's team, the ones, drew 2-2 with Marlow 2s. As you can see, the men's 2s drew 2-2 again with Henley 3rds, and their 3rds lost 4-2 to Berkhamsted. And the 4th 11 drew as well, 1 each. So quite a few draws there in the men's hockey. The ladies' first 11 beat Cheltenham 1s 3-2. You've already heard the ladies' 2s beat Milton Keynes there 7-1, and that footage that we just showed. The 3s won 4-1 against Leighton Buzzard 3rds. The 4ths had a good hiding against Oxford Horse 7ths, 7-0, and then the 5th team there lost 3-0 to Wootton Wanderers. That's a nice little roundup of hockey results from last weekend, and we thank...
How many fingers have I got up?
2.
That was very impressive, Darryl. You managed to read that.
I managed to read that from afar.
Without your glasses on?
Without my glasses. Very good. Very good. So, not too bad. That takes us on again to a regular piece. There's no actual footage from Oxford City Stars because they didn't actually have a game last weekend. But we got a further player profile. This is Joe Dollin, another goal minder. Can get this right. And quite a bit of fun that they do down at Oxford City Stars. We've seen them do this on a few occasions. And again, the warm-up that this guy says is his favourite. I'm definitely into that as well. So here's Joe Dollin with a player profile from Oxford City Stars.
Hi everyone, it's a player profile with netminder Joe Dollin. Joe, how are you first of all?
Yeah, very good, thank you. And lovely wet Wednesday, but can't complain now that I'm at the rink.
Cool. Right, let's go straight to this player profile, Joe. First of all, what is your age?
I am 37 years old.
Obviously, we've mentioned positions. We don't need to touch on that, everyone. Why number 29?
Why number 29? Used to be number 1, and part of the reason was that you always got the loudest cheer. And then as it went through the years, I got given number 29 for the first time, Guildford Flames, and then it stuck with me ever since.
Cool. How did you first get into hockey?
First got into hockey, Basingstoke. Turned up to go skating one day with my father, and then there was a junior hockey game on. Never really took to football or to rugby, so he said, do you want to give hockey a go? And yeah, never looked back after that.
What is your favourite goalie stick of all time?
Probably it was a Felix Potvin stick back in the day. Yeah, had a nice curve to it. I'd say that's probably my favourite goalie stick.
Is there a nice hockey team that you support?
Detroit Red Wings.
What's been a career highlight for you?
Career highlight would be probably gold medal, GB World Under 18s. That was a very good career highlight. And also probably coming back and re-signing for the Oxford City Stars after taking about 15 years out.
Nice plug, thanks Joe. Can you show everyone at home your favourite warm-up stretch?
Yeah, my favourite warm-up stretch is just to get the guns going. The fans love it, so that'd be my favourite one.
Joe, quick plug. Who is your own and loan this season?
Own and loan is Ease this season.
That's one. Thanks for getting a good sport, Joe.
Cheers. Thank you very much.
There we go. We don't just throw this programme together.
Oh, yes, we do.
Yeah, there we go. I did feel that there was something that I had a blank on afterwards. I said something for earlier, didn't I? But there we go. That shows again that we're live.
Isn't it?
It is probably. Blankety blank. Yeah.
Right, we did that.
Yeah, good stuff. That was obviously Joe Dole in there. The women's Oxford Midnight Stars, another great name. Love that. We're in action at the weekend in the Women's National Ice Hockey League South, where they had an exciting 3-3 draw against, I don't know who it was against. Actually, I don't know who it was against, but there was a hat-trick for Amy Haddon, so well worth a mention there for Amy, and I apologise that we didn't know who they played. But
Carl will have your guts for
yeah, he will absolutely throw me over the coals for that. I do apologise. I'll blame my researcher, me. I should have known. There you go.
Barnes is watching this and laughing now?
Probably laughing now,
probably
yeah.
Because we're very amateur,
Absolutely.
The views have gone up since you made that mistake, which is very funny. Right, okay, so we're going to move on now to the goal of the week.
Goal of the week.
Goal of the week.
And you weren't sure there, were you?
I know, because I was looking at the script that you wrote me and it was the other way around. So we've already seen this goal once today. This, I'm sure, is going to make the final 10, the final cut for the goal of the season competition. When we get that goal of the season competition, which will be the back end of April as we're heading towards the end of our current series, you will be voting on your goal of the season, and we will then invite that winner into the studio, and there will be a prize for that winner. We've got so many goals, so it's going to be really hard for us to shortlist this down to 10, to be honest. But
some great goals.
This goal was the goal that Sam Barder scored on Saturday at Salisbury. It actually put them in front, Didcot Town, at Salisbury, and Salisbury are flying high, Didcot battling hard to avoid relegation. But this goal at the Ray McCanhill Stadium in Salisbury is an absolute cracker, and we just wanted to show it to you again. And this will certainly feature, I think, in our top 10, but who knows?
Got a chance.
We might see some more crackers between now and the end of April. But this is the goal from Sam Barder for Didcot Town on Saturday. And it was pretty good techers, shall we say.
Good techers on this.
Didcot's goal scored in the 10th minute by number 8, Samuel Barber.
Is a fantastic strike from Sam Barder.
I think we were off there. That was a great strike from Sam Barder there. For Didcot, really
brilliant
good goal.
Yeah.
We'll see if
top techers.
I think.
we
See
can
if that
say.
figures. I'm sure it will figure in our top 10.
I would imagine so. Okie dokie. Before we finish, we're going to now give you a roundup of all the weekend and midweek results. Yet again, there was a lot of games that fell by the wayside because of the weather, not least Banbury United's game against South Shields, because they were under about 3 feet of water. One day this rain will stop, because we are, in theory, heading into spring now, and hopefully we'll start getting some better weather around the corner.
I was actually looking at Worcester's new road.
Yeah,
ground.
shocking, isn't it?
It is terrible.
Absolutely shocking. So here are the results that we have got from the weekend, from the football and the rugby. There's a couple of midweek results as well, and we'll bring you our regular results service right now. There you go. Special mention to Clanfield, actually. They had their game called off at the weekend, but they had a really good win in the week, and they're still flying high at the top of Division 1 of the Hellenic League. We'll get back there at some stage in the run-in towards the end of the season, because Pete Osborne and all the people down there have got a really good thing going down at Clanfield. Good crowds, really nice little venue, and when I went down there pre-Christmas, it was fantastic to see their win against Malmesbury. So fingers crossed we'll get down to see Clanfield again between now and the end of the season.
Do wish them all the very best. Just that is about it for this week on Ox Sports Unleashed. Brilliant. I do want to just put another plea out for anybody who's a roving, or wants to be a budding roving reporter or camera person or producer of the show even. Not that we want to get rid of the normal producers, but please get in contact with us, because we will be really wanting you to volunteer for Ox Sports Unleashed, and it would be a great little thing to have on your CV. So if there's anybody out there, please contact us at that email address again, oxsportsunleashed@gmail.com. That's oxsportsunleashed@gmail.com. Thank you for watching. I think really enjoyed Ben Cox. We'll be following his journey for sure. So that about wraps up Ox Sports Unleashed for this week. The week that Namibia...
Well done. Well done. He hasn't been saying that all
that's good. I've got through. Was that? Namibia. It was Jan Nicole Lofty-Eaton who scored the fastest T20 century in 33 balls. Amazing.
Like watching you bat, that would be. Yeah.
Pretty much. So thank you for joining us wherever you watched us on Ox Sports Unleashed. Please join us again next Thursday when we'll unleash some more Ox Sports. It's good night from me.
See ya.